good morning, my friends. Hang on a minute, let me get my camera set up straight. This is a little bit last minute. I wasn't quite ready. Hello, happy Tuesday. It is sunny in San Diego. Yes, it is. It's finally turned into summer and we love it. A little bit on the warm side, taking the pup out at lunchtime, that kind of thing. But in fact, incredibly hot. The other day it was 108. Not exactly in my backyard, but a few miles away. So it's going to be a scorcher this year. Okay, that's the weather forecast. Well, that's the weather report for today. Let's get to some important business. I went to a seminar this weekend. I do that occasionally. I go out to learn and then I share what I learned with the people who are listening to me. It's great. I love it. I love learning new stuff. I'm always open to learning new stuff. Before I go any further, you can learn a little bit about me now, just in case you don't know me already. My name is Andrea Kuchin. I am part of PhD in Follow-Up with my lovely business partner, Robert Rosenthal. PhDinfollowup.com/Andrea Kuchin gives you a little bit more about me. You can email me anytime. PhD in Follow-Up. That was, hang on a second. I'm supposed to have gone there. Yes, Andrea at PhDinfollowup.com, Andrea at PhDinfollowup.com, any time of the day or night. Honestly, I will respond when I'm ready. Same goes for phone calls and text. Anytime you want. If I'm awake and available, I'll answer it immediately. If not, I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. And if you're not already in our Facebook group, look for it. It's called PhD in Follow-Up. It's about getting more loyal customers, getting more referrals, closing more sales from people you already are in contact with. So basically, it's about building relationships, because when you've got a good relationship with somebody, a good group of people you've got a good relationship with, you can do any kind of business with them, refer people to each other like crazy till the cows come home, booming all of your businesses at the same time. It's awesome. Okay, money. Money is the big thing that seems to cause most of the upsets on the planet, I'd say. Money has got this reputation of being bad and evil, which I disagree with. I mean, they talk about money a lot, even in the Bible. It's mentioned over 2,000 times, I believe. And I haven't read anywhere that money itself is a bad thing. You have to think of it this way. Money is a method of exchange that equalizes things. Okay, so we now have, well, we hardly have money at all now. We have little cards and numbers on a screen. Before that, we had paper. Before that, we had coins. Before that, we had an extremely unreliable barter system, right? So if you wanted a piece of land, you had to give something in exchange for that piece of land that had the value to the person who had the piece of land. So, for example, you might say, I want this piece of land, I'm going to grow grain, and I will give you a third of my grain every year in exchange for the land. Or, I want your piece of land, I have a daughter, I'll give you my daughter, you can marry her, and then I own that land. Happened all the time. If you don't have a daughter or land, you're a bit stuck. But you could exchange anything that was a thing for another thing that was another thing. But the cost or the price or the value of those things depended absolutely on who was doing the buying and who was doing the selling, right? And that made it a little bit unreliable, a little bit tricky, and you were very restricted with who you could do business with. You could only buy something that you wanted if you had something the person wanted that you were buying from, right? So at some point, somebody said, hey, let's equal this all out. Let's give everyone a little metal coin and we'll put different values on them. And they will stand for, they will represent something that you're going to exchange. And there we were, off to the races. That was the beginning of money. And I bet you anything, there were people who were screaming and shouting and ranting and raving and saying, no, people are going to cheat and lie and steal. And how will we know what something's worth? And da-da-da-da-da. And this is stupid and crazy and it'll never catch on. It's a scam. But it wasn't. It was just a way of equalizing. Now with these metal things, you could go and get something from somebody, even if they didn't have something, even if you didn't have something they wanted. You could go and buy cloth, even though you didn't have a goat, which is what the person who made the cloth wanted. You could say, I can give you some of these and you can use those to buy a goat. Oh. Imagine what it would have been like in those days when, money was brand new and people were trying to get used to it. And some of them were like, this is the best thing. I was going to say since sliced bread, but they obviously didn't have sliced bread then. This is the best thing ever. This is the best invention since the wheel. And other people were going, no, it's a scam. It'll destroy the fabric of civilization. Okay, so fast forward several thousand years, actually, and somebody said, those bits of metal, they're heavy, irritating. Let's use paper instead. I'm sure somebody said, oh my God, that's ridiculous. Same scenario. It's a scam. It'll never catch on. Right? And other people said, yeah, but carrying all those coins around is really annoying. And someone else said, yeah, but people are going to be able to copy them and cheat. Oh no, we'll regulate it all by the banks and so on. Right? And then in the 70s, 80s, somebody said, hey, let's get rid of all this. Let's just use a little piece of plastic. Same stuff. It's a scam. It'll never catch on. It's a ripoff. They're all money. They're not real. Money isn't real any more than a piece of plastic is real, than a piece of metal is real, especially since the Federal Reserve is no longer connected to gold. It's completely arbitrary and meaningless. It's just a representation of an exchange. And if you can look at it that way, it's very interesting because the hang-up idea of money actually goes. Because some of us are still walking around with this idea that money is actually evil, that if we have money or want more money, that's a bad thing, and other people have to suffer in order to make us rich. None of this is true. As you know, there are loads of rich people around who've not caused anyone any suffering. On the contrary, they've alleviated pain. They've helped the world in some way. And that's what we're all here for, right? So money is an exchange. Now, a few years ago, somebody came along and said, hey, there's an easier way of doing this because in all sorts of different countries, we're spread out and we're trying to buy things across borders now, and our different money systems don't match. How about we centralize again and we put everything online, have it electronic, and call it cryptocurrency? And the same arguments are coming up yet again. The same as when we did the credit card, the same as when we changed our coins to notes, the same as when we invented coins in the same place. It's all the same argument. Somebody's going to rip us off. It's not going to work. It's a scam. Well, get used to it, folks. It isn't. And we are going to be using cryptocurrency more and more and more, whether you like it or not. And if you're selling, you're going to have to get to grips with it, unless you intend closing your business within the next year or two. Anyway, this seminar I went to was all about cryptocurrency. let me give you some information. This is public information, and I will be telling you at the end who put this together in the format it's in. So whether you're aware of it or not, and I apologize, I'm going to be away from the screen reading here. The dollar is strong, but other currencies are crashing. And the dollar is relatively strong, but the currency market, currencies are crashing. Now, if you're doing foreign exchange, that's great in one direction, but the ability to make money going both ways, the way you could a little while ago, is becoming limited. The war in the Ukraine is going to cause serious problems to do with hunger, basically because they export a lot of grain all over Europe, and they've closed the borders, and the grain doesn't only feed the humans, it also feeds the animals that the humans use in food and animal fodder and so on and so forth. Not a bad situation. And Russia will be cutting off gas and oil, which will plunge Europe and then eventually the rest of the world into a depression. You're told in the United States that the rate of inflation is around about 18%. Is about 8%, which is actually not true. You can look it up. It's more like 18, and it's going to hit 25, which is absolutely almost unhavable. The United States federal funds rate will hit 6% and crash the stock markets and the debt market. Now, the stock market, you can already see, is tumbling pretty fast, right? These things have all happened before. And when they happened before, there were warning signs going off before they happened. And then they happened. And now these same warning signs are repeating themselves. This is why the economists can predict these things and pretty much be right most of the time, because it's based on habit and things that happened before, which is what any science is based on. Last time we fed this to this creature, it did that. Chances are we repeat the same thing, it's going to happen again. Now, in science, we like to repeat it many, 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 many times so that we can then say this is a rule. And luckily, economies don't crash that often, but you can make a safe bet that this is right. Mortgage rates will hit 8%, which is going to crash the real estate market. Rents will skyrocket because people won't be able to afford to buy a house, so they'll be wanting to rent. And homelessness will increase, which will lead to greater crime and drug overdoses and suicides, usually by fentanyl. That'll be the new norm. In fact, that'll probably be the #1 cause of death. China will invade Taiwan, so there'll be a war in the China Sea. Broad worldwide sanctions will lead to supply shortages in drugs and goods, so we won't be able to help each other or save each other anymore. The Chinese economy will plunge into a recession or a depression, destroying the renminbi. The euro will plunge to 65 cents against the dollar. The strong dollar will destroy exports, so nobody's going to want to buy our stuff, which means that because we can't sell our stuff, there's no point in making it, which will kill manufacturing. Silver will plunge to $16 and gold to $1,300 an ounce. It's depressing, right? But to use an excellent analogy here, there is the other side of the coin, which is that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies will skyrocket in value because of the destruction of what's called the fiat currencies worldwide. Governments will increase taxes, which will force people to move outside the monetary system, which will bring them into crypto. And crypto will be adopted as a reserve currency, in other words, in the background, by 50 countries or more. So there's an upside to this. Right. There is massive information here on everything. The Americans are under heavy debt. US government, banks, and financial institutions are putting capital controls in place. So they're going to control your money. And if you keep it in a bank, you're actually not going to be able to get it out. I don't know if I can show you, I will show you actually how thick this thing is. Oops, where am I going? A lot of information. What is the highest appreciating asset in the financial world? It's gone from 8 cents to $68,000. That's just for one of them in 12 years. Bitcoin, actually. And I know, yeah, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, but it's crashed. Yes, to a degree. If you call, yes, of course, because it's half as valuable as it was at the end of last year. Well, October, November last year, where it was almost 68,000. And it's now around about 30. And it's probably going to go down a little bit more. But in relation to the 8 cents at the beginning, also there's something good about crashing currency. If you'd invested $1,000 when Bitcoin was 8 cents in 2010, you would have $262 million today. That's if you just left it sitting there, if you'd forgotten about it, or if your grandmother did it and you didn't know and you only came across the account today because, you know, she's gone and you didn't know she'd done it. There would be $262 million. $262 million, people. Right. You need to protect yourself. You need to protect yourself and your family from the financial collapse that's coming. The speed at which money is moving from one hand to another is slowing down. Right? So the economy is slowing down. I don't know whether I found that there are phrases that are used in the news on a daily basis that I actually didn't really understand, that I didn't understand, like a slow economy. What does this slow economy mean? It actually means that people are not buying so often or so much, right? So if you go back to the idea in the old days where we were swapping things around and bartering, suddenly nobody wants anything anymore. No, it's okay. I don't need a new goat because my goat's fine. You know, I don't need more chickens. I've got enough for my own eggs. I don't need to go to market to sell eggs, you know, because nobody's got anything I want, you know, except a few coins maybe. And these coins, I don't even know how much value they've got. That's what's actually happening in reality in the world right now. Now, the person who was doing this, who prepared this presentation, owns a mining company in Temecula. He's mining Bitcoin. That's his thing. I don't know whether that's for me. I'm still looking at it and thinking about it. Here's some more doom and gloom. It's expected that 400 more store chains will close this year. Okay. That's store chains. Okay. Malls and hotels are being converted to homeless shelters. Okay. This is quite hefty. Now, warning, tough decisions ahead. What should you do now to save your financial future? Well, I know the answer is probably obvious, start a business, an S Corp. And you can write off thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stuff every year. Let me give you an example. Advertising, 50% of meals, car insurance, cars repairs, gas, oil, lease payments. Sorry, I've got hair flicking my face. Mileage you've driven on your car, your phone, travel, home, 20% of your home if you're working from home, moving expenses, internet, depreciation, interest, bank fees, education, training courses, health insurance, legal fees, and a lot more. And then this: how to invest, profit, and become rich in the Bitcoin revolution. Now, like I said, I'm not sure I'm actually going to do the Bitcoin revolution specifically. But I do definitely want to be involved more in cryptocurrency. Okay, so this is something you need to pay attention to, okay? Important points to remember with crypto. Invest 10% of your savings or retirement investments. Use a credit or debit card to purchase if you can. Use a checking account as a backup. Use the popular platforms like Coinbase, CoinMania, and Bitcoin.com. Obviously, you can only do Bitcoin on Bitcoin.com. Use Exodus as a wallet. There are other wallets, but he recommends Exodus. Get a wallet. Get an actual hard drive wallet when you've got 1 Bitcoin. And have a goal of 1 Bitcoin because that's all you need. And I'll give you his information when we get closer. So what you then do is you can use your Bitcoin to pay bills and loans, right? You can transfer them to your wallet and you can make all your payments. You can spend a lot of money, $4,000 a day. You can get money out at the ATM and you can pay for airfare, hotels, car rental, food, which of course are all deductible on your taxes. You can even pay off your student loans with automated payments. Is this sounding a little bit familiar now? Is it sounding a little bit like it's ordinary money? Yes. You know why? Because it is, right? It is becoming ordinary money. All it is a ledger of a transaction, which is exactly actually what a coin was, as in a metal coin when they first came out. It just showed that you'd bought a goat or a chicken or a sack of grain. That was all. Somebody else had the coin to show that you bought it. This is basically the same thing. Did you know this? Amazon accepts Bitcoin. That's a bit of a shocker, isn't it? There you go. There's an example of checking out, a checkout at Amazon using something called Moon. These are examples of real estate contracts using Ethereum and Bitcoin. Okay, so you can go and buy a house with Ethereum and Bitcoin. And the really exciting stuff is this. You don't need to report cryptocurrency and not have to pay massive taxes. And that's interesting. Now, I'm not saying that you should take this as financial advice, but talk to somebody when you are interested in doing this in terms of financial people who actually understands what cryptocurrency is and how valuable it is. Look at this. The expected Bitcoin increase in 2023, 200 to 300%. And that's not just here. That's a global total. It will increase everywhere. And it's going to be so much easier to buy stuff from everywhere else because you're not going to be paying huge fees to banks or even PayPal, because PayPal charges big fees as well. It doesn't look like it because they fiddle you on the exchange rate. So you look as though you're only paying $2.99, but if you actually compare the exchange rate that they're using to an exchange rate that's the bank, and you add that up, you find that you're actually paying more like $10 or something. I mean, those are arbitrary numbers, of course. Here's a suggestion on the different coins to use, right? Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, Polygon, and Avalanche. And this is what they're mostly used for. Okay, and you can use your Exodus wallet or any wallet, in fact, even Bitcoin have their own wallet, to buy coins of other values, right? Other types of coins. And he reckons that Bitcoin will probably bottom out at about 15,000 before it goes back up again. And then he talks about his mining and gives you a great deal on the mining. Now, this information was provided by Dr. Jeff Riccio. This is his phone number and this is his email address, and I will put it down in the, I'll post it. It'll be down at the bottom of this video in YouTube. Why am I telling you all this? Because what he doesn't know yet, what Dr. Jeff Riccio, who used to be a chiropractor, by the way, does not know yet, is that New Gen coin, which is the coin I've been talking about for a while, is going to be as strong as Bitcoin, most likely, and will, over the next few years, become a global coin. It is different from other cryptocurrencies because it is based on actual assets, real assets. We have real estate, major contract going on in Canada right now. We have water desalination, creating potable water, which is, as you know, the world's most precious resource. Then we have oxygen. I did not realize this, but apparently a lot of oxygen is used in industry and it's very expensive to make. We have a way of making it that is much more cost effective. We also have energy. We've created a battery which will last longer than any other battery and will charge much, much faster than any other battery. And I can't get my head around this myself, you don't actually need electricity to charge it up. So that brings us back neatly to another reason, to my main concern with crypto mining, one of my main concerns with crypto mining, and that is the fact that these mines use masses and masses of energy, right? And they have to be run on 220 volts as well. So they use a massive amount of energy, which just gets wasted. And it's not the best thing for the planet to have all that electricity used up making money. And then what happens when the electricity has gone, which might happen at some point? Anyway, I don't think it's that great for the planet. So that's a big consideration I have when it comes to mining. And also, at the moment, with our New Gen coin, the returns are going to be absolutely enormous, just as they were with Bitcoin when it first started. Now, I don't know whether we're going to go to 68,000 per coin. I really don't know. This is what I do know. When I bought my first coin on the 29th of April, it cost me 32 cents. If I want to buy a coin today, it's going to cost me 74 cents. So what's happened between the 32 cents and the 74 cents? That's double, right? So if I had put in $100 and I bought $100 worth of coin, I would have got, well, I'm not going to do the maths for you because I'm not good at it. But whatever it is I spent then, it's worth more now. So if I spent $100 on coins at 32 cents, I've now got well over $200 in my account because 74 cents is a lot more than 32 cents, right? So the value has gone up, and the value is going to go up more and more and more. Now, if you're watching this video before the end of June 2022, call me right now, because there's an absolutely incredible that I'm not even going to tell you about on this video, because I don't want to upset people who read this later. Okay, or email me, because I will provide you all the information. There's a fabulous white paper produced by the company that explains how they're making their money, all the rest of it, and predictions for future, well, kind of everything that they're doing to back themselves up. They're in a much stronger position than Bitcoin for two reasons. First of all, because they're based on assets. And secondly, because everybody knows what cryptocurrency is now, and we didn't when Bitcoin came. So if you're smacking yourself because you're thinking, I missed the Bitcoin revolution, do not fear. It's coming again, and it's going to be faster. That's all I'm going to tell you for today. If you want to know about our new gen coin, then email me, Andrea at PhD and follow up, or text me 858-252-1190, or call me 858-252-1190. The important takeaway from this today is that tough times are coming, and it's not just me that says so. You must take some kind of action to protect your assets. And investing in a type of cryptocurrency or gold and silver, even though they're going to go down, they're all going to go down. Everything is going to go down. The question is, what's going to fall faster, harder, and what's going to climb up quicker? Okay, because there's absolutely no doubt that cryptocurrency is going to maintain a better rate and come up faster than everything else. Okay, so there you are, bit of a serious subject today. We'll be light and bright again next week. Don't forget to join me tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time, at our daily business workout. You can get the link for that in the Facebook page and the groups, and I've posted it all over the place. Not my idea. It's run by some friends of mine, Stephanie Massman and Melissa Levine and Marlene. I can't remember her last name for the moment. Gorgeous voice Marlene has. Anyway, they've put together this amazing teaching platform, and all sorts of people are teaching on it. And it's going to have its big launch, the ribbon cutting on the 5th of July. Up until then, you can get trained for free. Wow. How about that? So join me tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. I'll be in the the daily business workout. And if you don't, that's okay. Well, we'll miss you, but it's okay, because I will see you here again at My Home Biz Tips and PhD and Follow Up next Tuesday, 11 o'clock. Thank you so much, my friends. See you again soon.